Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a video. So, the results are in. Silent Wolf won. I had a time deadline on I think Sunday afternoon, and when I checked, Silent Wolf had won by I think 5 votes. There was a lot of votes, and then when I woke up in the morning, people were like, "Oh, I didn't get a vote," and the time difference where I live was off. But at that point, Silent Wolf still had beat Ice Machine. So, Silent Wolf won twice. Basically, there was a third time that I checked much later in the day yesterday, and Ice Machine had pulled ahead. But Silent Wolf was the clear winner, at least at that before that. So Silent Wolf is going to be the character that I'm going to design and do like a real nice pinup of, or some sort of like pretty dynamic image with. And then what I'm going to do is at some point I will draw Ice Machine, because I had ideas for both characters. So either or, it didn't really matter who was going to win because I had ideas for both characters. So yeah, thanks everyone for voting, and it was a lot of fun. I really let my imagination go wild with the list, and I had come up with a lot of characters based on the list myself. Some may have been suggested. I'm not 100% sure. And then what I did was I actually created a new list of about 70 words, and started to come up with a title for the book. Excuse me, other characters, and yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of work done on it while I was working on other stuff. It was kind of funny. I think it was a Patreon video, but I was inking, and while I was shooting the video, you would see me take breaks, and I would go off camera, and I was actually writing down ideas, not only for story ideas, but character ideas and stuff like that. It really is important. I mean, I would recommend this to people. Is when your imagination really starts getting rolling, and you've been used to kind of creating ideas for a while, it's really, really important to write them down, because even for me, I'll find like I'll be working, and I think of an idea, and I go, oh man, that would be really cool. Like that's like a very, very cool idea. And I mean, literally a minute or two later, I can actually like have trouble remembering what it was if my mind is wandering on other things. Like I'm focused on the work, or I had a train of thought where I was thinking about something that I had seen or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, just keep a pad of paper or multiple pads of paper and pen around, and always write down the little ideas. And the amazing thing is I mean, it's incredible. So I've been working on Blaster Kid for the last like 7 or 8 days, and I had to look for something on an external hard drive. It didn't have to do with Blaster Kid. I was looking for some other term, and I have 10 external hard drives, so I was going through each one and searching for terms, so pretty generic terms. But I ended up finding an original script of Blaster Kid several years before it was ever called Blaster Kid. And I talked about it in a Patreon video, and essentially what had happened was probably in 2010, 5 of us at Wildstorm decided that we were going to create our own books. And it was myself, I think Lieber Mayho, Carl Stianda, Ollie Garza, I think Jim was involved, and maybe JJ Kirby and Michael Lopez. So maybe it was even more of us, and possibly even Oliver Nome. And we gave ourselves a deadline, and we said, okay, you need to come back in like a day or two, and you need to have like the name of your book, you need to have a 1-page summary, and we're gonna print them out. We're gonna give each person a copy of it to sort of hold each other accountable for it. And I ended up finding my whatever you want to call it, like my mission statement on the book, and it's quite a long like written out thing. And it's interesting because it has a different title, but I mean, it's clearly the core idea of Blaster Kid. So it was really interesting finding it, because I had completely forgotten about it. I knew that there was a couple of things I had written around that time, or maybe a few years before, that were what would you call it, like sort of adventure mission based comic book ideas. But the setting was different. It's a different time period than when Blaster Kid takes place, but other than that, it's very, very similar. So it was very, very cool to find. But if I would have never written that down, that would have been an idea that probably I would have had some sort of abstract recollection of, but it wouldn't have been accurate. And finding it was really interesting. So I threw it in the Blaster Kid folder, and now it's not only inspiration for segments of Blaster Kid, because it takes you back to a different angle, a different intensity. It could be a different sort of what would you call it, like maybe you consider one book more apocalyptic, and then the other one is kind of more like a ticking time bomb, or whatever the sort of nuance is, the feel that you're giving the people that are reading it. And it's been interesting because I've been studying a lot of movie and video game like directors, watching lots of interviews with directors and writers and stuff like that, and it's really, really enlightened me in terms of what you call it, like the possibilities that like each medium sort of has, game directors aren't really directing a movie. It's a different experience because you've got players playing the game. It's a longer experience. Technically speaking, someone that's going to play like a 32-hour game is going to need moments where that they can break away from the game and still feel satisfied, but want to come back to the game. Whereas in a movie, you've got 2 hours to 2 to 3 hours to sort of engage an audience, tell your story, and it's not an interactive experience. And a comic book presents its own what you call it, like possibilities, but also limitations. So it's interesting seeing it through the eyes of different directors and writers, and then looking at the medium that we work in, and I came up with some really, really cool ideas that I've never ever seen anyone do with a comic book, and so it's exciting to not only develop those ideas, but to present them to a fan base and see how people are going to react to it, because I think it's going to be really exciting. So anyway, Silent Wolf will be at least some part of that whole process. And again, thanks a lot for voting. I'm on a crunch deadline this week, so I'm going to try to start working on this each evening. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the piece completely finished, but I'm going to document the whole process. So when I start uploading the videos, you'll be able to see the finished piece, and then you'll get to see all like the me working on from the most abstract ideas to refining those to picking a lane that I'm going to go in, and then developing it, costuming the character, the whole thing. So it should be pretty interesting and I think fun to see. And I felt like showing whips along the way, it wouldn't work as well as creating the whole series as one thing. So that's what I'm going to run with. And then I wanted to give a shout out to David Finch. A few people had noted me and told me that I'm going to guess it was on his Sunday video that he drew Moon Knight. He had some real complimentary stuff to say about my inks, and I really appreciate it. And I was going to give his channel a shout out anyway, but David Finch is on YouTube now regularly, and he's posting incredible lessons, and his insight into drawing is really unmatched. And what's great about it too is a few weeks ago, before he started posting regularly on YouTube, I had actually watched his Gnomon videos, and I either mentioned them on YouTube or on Patreon, but I think I even did some studies of some of David's anatomy and stuff like that. And if I didn't, I will go and do that again, because I think David has a pretty unique way that he approaches anatomy. It's very chunky, it's very dramatic, and between the Gnomon videos and then what he's uploading now, I mean, you have a really, really great sort of like variety of approaches that he's used, and he is a much more highly refined artist now than he was when he did those Gnomon videos. And he was great when he did those Gnomon videos, but he definitely got better. So, all right, have a great day. I will talk to you all in probably a day or two. Patreon, I'm going to edit an inking video for you today, so you'll get that. If you haven't checked out my Patreon, please do. There's probably somewhere between 300 and 500 videos up there. There's tons of posts. $1 gets you full access. There's lesson tiers. There's review tiers. Check it out. You will definitely not be bored, and it will keep you busy for months. So, all right, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.